there are still transfer rumours swirling around, Guy.
Certainly are, and one of them involves your beloved Arsenal, Ian, and we've been talking about the need to improve the defence for years and years and years. Since long
you
before,
were born.
Since I were a weean, and we're now talking about Issa Diop from West Ham, 60 million quid.
What? 60 million pounds for Issa Diop?
Yeah.
Why? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I've not created this rumour. I'm just reading.
Yeah, but where does that figure come from? They just plucked it out of the air because he's not worth 60 million quid.
That puts him at 3/4 of a Harry Maguire. Is he worth that?
I don't think Harry Maguire was worth £80 million.
No, he was, because Man United paid it.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's worth whatever the team are prepared to pay for it. But Issa Diop, please.
You don't rate him at all? You don't think he's worth 60 million?
The one I want is Upamecano. Upamecano, whatever his name. I liked him a lot.
I used to use that as a kid.
Yeah. It's all right. That's fair enough. I treated that with the disdain it absolutely deserved.
And that I expected.
Yes.
He looked very good, didn't he, against Spurs last week?
He did. He looked excellent. So I like the look of him. And I'm telling you, he's not going to be costing 60 million quid. He just isn't.
Why not? Because RB Leipzig are doing
German
very well.
Team. Yeah, but it's a German team and you'll get him for less. This is why buying from other English clubs is ridiculous. Because you've got to pay £60 million for an average player like Issa Diop. He's all right. Not that mobile, not that good on the floor, strong and everything, but 60 million quid.
For 60 million, you'd want a defence transforming player, wouldn't you?
Well, considering that 2 years ago, Liverpool paid £75 million for Virgil van Dijk. Now, he's worth 200 million quid now. Does that mean that Issa Diop is worth 60 million pounds? I think that's a bit insane.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I thought last season he was good, actually. I was quite impressed by him. And there were some rumours around even linking him with Arsenal back then. And Man United, actually, as well. But this season, everyone at West Ham's been pretty poor, but he's not been nearly as impressive, I wouldn't have said. And that wasn't starting from a Virgil van Dijk or Harry Maguire kind of level. So, no, it does seem extortionate. You've got this fella in on loan, the Brazilian, Pablo Mari. Have you seen enough to make a judgment?
Seen a couple of games. He's left-footed. They wanted a left-footed central defender, and that's what Arteta wanted. So Edu got it together and sent him a video, highlights of various players. And Pablo Mari, partly, of course, he was chosen partly because he'd been at Manchester City and Arteta had seen him at Manchester City and went, OK, he's good. I haven't seen enough of him. I can't make a judgment, but he can play. I
think for the first time in a little while at Arsenal, we're going to start seeing a type of player signed, aren't we, where it has to be a Mikel Arteta player in a way that it wasn't under Emery, and probably even in the latter days of Wenger, there'd stopped being that clarity of thinking about what qualities he was looking for. It was slightly a case of anyone who they could afford, who was in the price range, would get signed. But
there'll still be that as well at Arsenal,
I suppose
because there ain't going to be a lot of money knocking about. But hopefully,
so 60 million for Diop, it just doesn't seem viable, does it?
I think his agent's just touting him about just to see if there's any interest. And right now, of course, there isn't. Because people have got bigger things to think about.
It's very true.
You are listening to Transfer Talk on Love Sport with Isuzu. Trade in your pickup and get up to $2,000 extra off an award-winning Isuzu D-Max. Visit isuzu.co.uk.
And the other thing we wanted to talk about today, I want to talk about this as a Man United fan, because Man United's apparently, and we've heard this for a long time, the links with Donny van der Beek, who is at Ajax.
Or Bake?
I say Beek.
You say Beek, I say Bake, you say Bake. Let's call the whole thing off. Anyway.
For some reason I just thought of Roy Hudd, who sadly passed away today, who I always, excuse me, I don't have coronavirus, because I laughed, who I was confused with Rod Hull.
Yes, Rod Hull was the one with the emu.
And Roy Hudd didn't have an emu.
He had another bird, a peacock.
Did he actually?
No.
No, okay.
Just making that up.
Imagine if he did.
I know, Rod Hull and Roy Hudd with two different birds.
That would have been too much to handle.
Rod Hull, by the way, was one of the weirder phenomena.
And Rod Hull is the one we've lost today?
No, the guy with the emu.
Right.
Was one of the weirder phenomena of the 1970s and 80s. Used to come on. You know what he did, right?
He came with, and the bird had its sort of a mind of its own.
No, it didn't. No.
Oh.
It wasn't a real bird.
Well, no, I know it wasn't real. But
no, Rod Hull.
We're going to have to talk about Donny van der Beek.
All right, let's do that anyway. Do that. Go on.
We'll come back to the Rods and the Roys and work out who's who in a bit. Donny van der Beek, looked like a fantastic player when I seen a lot of him in the Champions League season before last on that great run. Haven't watched so much Dutch football this season, but he does look a very good player. But he looks to me the sort of player who wants to do a similar job to Bruno Fernandes.
Yes.
Now United have Bruno Fernandes. Aren't there other areas that they need to be prioritising?
I would say so. Donny van de Beek I thought he played beautifully for Ajax. I remember in the Champions League last season, you thought, yeah, he's a player. But I think United are covered there. Yeah. But again, I guess agents are just, he wants to get out, doesn't he?
And the other club he's linked with is Real Madrid. And I think if I were a player...
They could use him.
Well, they probably could.
Because I think Luka Modric is coming to the end of his useful life as a player at that level. And by the way, I think he's an absolutely outstanding footballer. But
he's older than Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, Manchester, yes, but Wayne Rooney is
younger than we think.
It's like dog years, isn't it, with Wayne Rooney, the way that he's built. But
Wayne Rooney will be playing sweeper for Cambridge United at the age of 74, won't he? It'll just be gradually dropping back.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. And I say Modric is fantastic as well. But watching him against Man City the other week, he was bypassed.
He was.
By them. He looked like a player who's past his best.
So this looks a bit like a rumour where they're trying to force the move to Real, pushing the interest of Man United or elaborating it, over-exaggerating it maybe to try and get Real's hand to be forced, I suppose. Not that you'd want to go too near Madrid right now if you weren't already there.
I would say he's not going to go over there anytime soon.
Not in the imminent future.
But next season, whenever that starts, and we don't know when that's going to start, maybe Donny van de Beek will be one of the players turning out for them. They do need a bit of a rebuild right now. That was Transfer Talk with Issa.